Good evening, dear viewers. Welcome to the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. In our top stories, local administrative authorities in the southwest region of Cameroon, headed by Governor Benato Calabilai, including traditional leaders, have been meeting since 12 p.m. today to discuss ways to see the implementation of resolutions of the major national dialogue. This in a bid to further down the tension in the region. We equally talk about the General Certificates of Education, the GCE Ordinary and Advanced Level, as well as First School Living Certificate examinations, which have started effectively across the national territory today. The pupils and students in the two English-speaking regions are writing in a tense socio-political atmosphere. We equally talk about a man in Fu in Yaoundé, central region of the country, who is now behind bars. He was arrested by gendarmerie elements after he cut off a leg of his wife. He accused the wife for serving his remaining spaghetti in the pot to the two kids who were complaining of hunger. You will hear more in this newscast. Good evening once again. You welcome to the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinoxe Television. We begin with education news to see in the southwest region, the armed conflicts did not permit some pupils and students to sit in for the First School Living Certificate examination, as well as the GCE Ordinary and Advanced Level, that the kids from Dikume, Balwe, and Konye subdivisions had to move to Kumba in order to write the examinations. Details with Formi Armstrong Sander.
Because of an unbearable security situation, 24 candidates from Dikume Balwe subdivision in the Indian division and 19 from Konye subdivision in the Meme division of the same region had to sit for the First School Living Certificate examination and the General Certificate of Education, Ordinary and Advanced Levels in Kumba. Mr. Ojong is the Inspector of Basic Education for Konye subdivision.
Yes, because the crisis, the war, is plenty for Konye. Pass the way it did for Kumba. Small security at least, they for Kumba. Pass the way it did for Konye.
He adopted the strategy to bring kids from Konye subdivision to Kumba after his office was burned.
My office was burnt as you interviewed me and you saw the office. Since then, at least nothing has been done because of the crisis. So the strategy I came out with, I had to go to parents. They send those who can send their children to Kumba, where it's a bit safe, so that I teach them in Kumba. I mobilize my teachers, teach them in Kumba.
Difficult not only for candidates from Konye and Dikume Balwe subdivisions, as officials say those from villages within Kumba Free subdivision had to be moved in over the weekend.
It's really moving as planned because I, the SDO, together with the head of administration in the Meme division, we've done a lot of groundwork to ensure that these pupils come here and write their exam. Some even came during the weekend and they are sleeping in town just to make sure that they participate in this exercise. So at the end of the day, I am so happy. You see,
after a round of examination centers, the divisional officer for Kumba 1 subdivision says all went on hitch-free.
And at least we are satisfied that enough security dispositions have equally been taken, and students and the pupils are writing without any problem. And by the time we are rounding up,
the Meme Divisional Delegation of Secondary Education says a total of 5,946 candidates sat for the BAPC examination in the French subsystem of education and the General Certificate of Education, Ordinary and Advanced Levels in Kumba this day.
And our Northwest Regional Correspondent Mbu Stella follows day one of the GCE Ordinary and Advanced Level Technical General, as well as the first school living certificates pupils and the students were writing in the regional headquarters Bamenda. Mbu Stella finds in details of day one.
As early as 7 a.m., majority of students sitting in for the examination by the General Certificate of Examination Board and the pupils sitting in for the first school leaving examinations were already in their respective centers. The examinations are taking place in the Northwest region within an uncertain security climate, reason why parents are accompanying their children. Schools in the city center are host to schools from other divisions, and state forces have been stationed at campuses.
We have security inputs at two levels. First, the communities that make it possible for things to happen, because that's where it starts. It's only when communities decide that the community should be safe that they become safe. The military and security forces only come in to assist those communities.
In the Northwest region, over 20,000 students are expected to sit for the GCE in 50 centers.
I've made a virtual round of all the divisions this morning, and the exercise has started off smoothly. We've not had any report of any incident, either against a student or a teacher.
In the basic education sector, some absences were recorded on day one of the examinations. The first school leaving certificate examination is the first on the academic ladder of these pupils, reason why the mayor of Bafut, Lawrence Ngwakongo, visited the government bilingual practicing school Old Town Bamenda, where pupils from schools across Mezam and Momo divisions are writing the exams.
Coming here today is as a result of the good number of people who have come from Bafut to write the first school living certificate. These children who have equally learned through thick and thin, that all of us know, and I needed to come to encourage them. I equally came with nose mask to equally make them know that Corona is still a reality.
Echoes from other divisions of the Northwest region indicate that the examinations are going on hitch-free. At the time of this report, pupils had finished for day one, while students were rounding up the last subjects for day one of the examination.
Local administrative authorities in the southwest region of Cameroon, headed by Governor Benato Kalabilai, including traditional leaders, have been meeting since 12 p.m. today in the regional capital, Buea, to discuss ways on the implementation of resolutions of the major national dialogue. This in a bid to further down the persisting tension in the region. Derijato has been following that meeting. Listen to him.
At this other side of the door divided are stakeholders of the Southwest region in a working session with the Southwest Governor. They have been here since 12 noon. This particular Tuesday, the 29th day of June 2021. They are discussing, among other things, the security situation of the Southwest region. We have been made to understand that this particular meeting was a platform to all the delegates and to all divisional stakeholders to put down what they feel that could be done to bring normalcy in the region. Equally, we have traditional rulers in there, and a while ago they break up into commissions, and now they have come back. Certainly they are now discussing resolutions. We have been made to understand by participants that, among other things, the government says she is now ready to listen and to look into what needs to be done to bring a lasting solution to the Anglophone crisis that has been going on for plus 4 years now. But the major point that has been discussed here, people of the region and stakeholders, especially traditional rulers, were worried, saying that they want to start feeling the impact of the major national dialogue. Well, whatsoever has been the case, the Southwest Governor told them that they should go and rediscuss in their various divisions and to assess whether what they put forth as a resolution or what they put forth as proposals to Yaoundé is really gaining some grounds on the field in the Southwest region. Well, the Southwest Governor equally mentioned that the regional council is one of the fallout of the major national dialogue, and now that funds have been provided to the council, it is time not to talk again, but it is time for action, calling on the regional councillors to go to the field and of course to make sure that they create the impact. If not, the Southwest people should hold them responsible for not putting in place their demands. Well, that is the situation here. The resolution is yet to come out, but at the moment, the Southwest governor and the stakeholders of the Southwest region are in this working session since 12 noon. Whatsoever will be the outcome, the Southwest population is expectant. Of course, they want action, not word. Derek Jato, Southwest Governor's Office, signing out.
Thank you, Derek Jato, for that update. And you'll be giving us resolutions of that meeting in a subsequent edition of the newscast. We still in the southwest region of the country to talk about the Mbororo community. We say they have been adversely affected by the socio-political crisis that's ongoing for close to 5 years. They say unity is threatened. Their unity is threatened. Thus need to preserve it and protect it from all evil forces. They were speaking recently during their cultural jamboree in Limbe. Davidson Maimo has details.
Speaking during a gathering bringing together the Mbororo community in Fako division under the canopy of the Mbororo Social, Cultural and Development Association, Boskuda, to welcome their national president, the regional president Musa Abubakar says the ongoing social unrest in the northwest and southwest region has greatly affected the association and the Mbororo community in general.
We are as well faced with the problem of assisting our internally displaced refugees due to the current socio-political crisis in the region.
He used the occasion to beckon on the government of Cameroon for the Mbororo community to be taken into consideration in their work of project and employment.
It is sad to see most of these youth today either in the car washing point or roaming the various streets.
His point was buttressed by the Deputy State Council for Tiku, Sule Ibrahim, and Ali Muhammadu, 2021 Mount Cameroon champion.
The Mbororo community has reached a certain level that should be applauded. We have graduated, we have mastered the student of PhD degrees. I was impressed that other parts, not in athletics domain only, is growing.
The Mbororos who were not interested in education and other social inclusion are today gradually wiping out this notion.
Really, we are moving and we are getting into the social affairs, we are interacting with other people. In fact, we are really growing up as a community. If you go to most schools now, you find Muslim girls and they are being encouraged to go to school. So the notion of us not going to school is no longer there.
We clamoring that all the Mbororo community will be educated in the long run.
The event, which crowned week-long cultural activities, ended with a football final that saw the Mbororo community of Tiku emerging victorious over that of Limbe. Adamu Amadu is the national president.
I think this shows us how solidarity can gather us together. Mbororo youth are not only capable to be cattle herders, they can also be a good football player.
A workshop aims at empowering journalists with the necessary tools to be objective, accurate, and balanced in reporting in times of conflicts like the situation in the two English-speaking regions of the country. Has just ended in the seaside resort city of Limbe, southwest region. The media men and women were also updated with developing mechanism as far as country reporting is concerned. Take a listen to some of the journalists who say the workshop is timely.
Yannick Fonke, the editor-in-chief of High Television. I think this training is very timely, especially within the context we find ourselves, the ongoing crisis. You know, reporting conflict has been a very challenging moment for many journalists in the two English-speaking regions. The process of writing and reporting issues happening have got many of us into harm's way. So this training comes in to boost our capacity and give us some of these very important tools so we can be able to report the crisis with all objectivity, fairness, accuracy, and also avoid getting ourselves into harm's way.
My name is Lucretia Amand. I'm a journalist with Tico Council Community Radio. Personally, it's going to enrich me, enable me to report accurately, first of all, accurately and objectively, because when dealing with your audience, we're dealing with different people, and sometimes the way they're going to perceive information is probably not the way we intend to send it out. So we have to be very, very conscious with the type of information we send out.
I am Sharon Yombe from Radio Bonakanda. This workshop, it will help us report with credibility so that we will be able to solve even conflicts between people around us.
I am Clarius Atia, reporter with Cameroon and Fonet. This workshop on conflict-sensitive reporting is very timely, especially in Cameroon, where we have a series of conflicts in the northern and southern regions, in the east and the far north region, and in the entire country as a whole, where we have ethno-political tensions. There is need for journalists to be aware, to be responsible in their reporting.
We told you in our lead story that a man in Yaoundé, notably in Fou, is now behind bars after he cut off the leg of his wife, 23 years old. He is suspected to have cut off the wife's leg because he did not find any spaghetti in the pot upon his return home. I was arrested and jailed in Fou prison. The victim, Akono Sabine Mabel Lizette, 23 years old, had served their two hungry children the remaining spaghetti meant for her husband. Little did she know her husband, who before going to the farm had eaten much of it and demanded the rest be kept for him, was to chop off her leg for merely saving the children. From hunger. She also received merciless beatings before her leg was cut off. Akono Sabine was urgently transported to the Mfu hospital, where doctors had no other choice than to amputate the 23-year-old girl's leg. Family of the culprits, Nzi Ngon Jean Poulin, refused entirely to cater for Lisette. They said the problem could have been resolved amicably and not by calling gendarmes to arrest their brother. Lisette, who is recovering from trauma in the hospital, has been living in Fou with Poland and with their two kids before the unfortunate incident. And we talk about this road accident that has claimed the life of at least one person, notably at a police post, and goods destroyed. That's in Nkosong, around the junction to Chang. In the west region of Cameroon, a 30-seater bus from Mbukok travel agency hit the woman before ending its course off the road. She was rushed to the hospital but gave up the ghost, according to a witness. We now take you to Fumbot, notably in the west region, where Immaculate Fogwe will be looking at the state of the Fumbot hospital that has a responsibility to cater for the sick and also other persons with emergency cases. Her report.
The Fumbot District Hospital in the Nun Division West region is in need of a facelift. Created in the 1980s, the hospital has been serving thousands of local inhabitants. The Fumbot District Hospital lacks some basic health equipment. For the few available, it's either in a dilapidated state or non-functional. The few beds available are worn out. Just one out of the two available microscopes is functional. During the rainy season, the entire structure is inundated. During an award ceremony, the director of the hospital encouraged his staff to get themselves vaccinated against the coronavirus.
Nous célébrons aujourd'hui la fête de l'excellence, du
Today
travail
we
bien
are
accompli,
celebrating
de la
outstanding staff
performance.
who have given their all for the well-being of the community. The recent outbreak of the coronavirus made our job very difficult and risky, but we are thankful to God. I equally want to appreciate the efforts of the government in protecting health personnel well during the pandemic. I want everyone working here to get vaccinated. The divisional officer encouraged health personnel to continue working for the good of the community.
I see all what people are going through, even at the detriment of their own lives, by some irresponsible hoodlums in this town. Stand strong. Stand strong. Myself and the local administration of Fumbot, we are always going to stand behind you. So, my dear health workers, for sure, you took the oath of the Nightingale. The oath of the Nightingale being that to serve mankind, to serve your community with chastity.
Meantime, the population is anxiously waiting for the government to revamp the health facility.
The Nigerian population in Kumba Meme division of the southwest region of Cameroon now have a new union president, installing the new executive, His Excellency Ibrahim Bashir. Nigerian Consul General for the Northwest and Southwest region has encouraged them to be each other's keeper. The Rijato files in details.
Elder Augustine Nwafo has handed over leadership of the Nigerian Union in Kumba Meme division to Ifeanyi Akpo Maximilian.
Not only in Kumba, he is the president of the whole Meme division to take care of the affairs of Nigeria. And I want to advise him to always call Nigeria to desist from Cameroonian politics that are biased in the ways of the nation, praying for peace to reign in this nation of Cameroon. Organize prayers because of one peace.
Officiating the installation ceremony at the Nigerian consulate in Boya, His Excellency Ibrahim Mohammed Bashir, Nigerian Consul General for the Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon, called on the Nigerian population in Meme division to be each other's keeper, especially in these challenging times.
Our message is to carry on with the good work that the outgone ESCO have started on the issue of trying to forge unity among our people, to work together as a team, to also champion the cause of Nigerians in Kumba, in Meme division and beyond, to be law-abiding, to always make sure that they become their brothers' keepers.
To the new president of the Nigerian Union, bringing everyone on board is his first priority.
First task now for unite all Nigerians, because for the past years, Nigerians beget a lot of divisions, state unions divided and so on. And so, our first one will be for unite all Nigerians, because unity is strength. Without unity, we cannot be able to achieve our goals.
The occasion also provided the opportunity for these Nigerians to wish their motherland well.
We ask peace of God in our nation, Nigeria. We ask love in our nation, Nigeria. We ask unity and we ask harmony. May Almighty God accept our prayer.
Most Nigerians in the Northwest and Southwest regions are businessmen and women, and their greatest wish is that the Anglophone regions, which has been in turmoil for over 4 years now, be stable for a smooth commercial atmosphere.
The President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, has granted an official funeral to Cameroon's former Prime Minister Simon Achidi Acho. He will be interred Saturday, July 3rd in Santa Mezam division of the Northwest region. Achidi Acho died on May 4th, 2021 of an illness in the United States of America. That's the presidential decree. That is equally talking about the official funeral to Cameroon's former Prime Minister Simon Achidi Acho. That's it for the first part of this newscast. Up next is Talking Point. On today's Talking Point, we having as guest Fabrice Lena. He is the National Communication Secretary of the Secretary General of the Popular Action Party. Good evening and welcome, Fabrice Lena.
Good evening, Mr. Innocent Azer. Good evening to all the viewers of Equinoxe TV. Good evening to my brothers and sisters in the Northwest, Southwest, in Southern Cameroon. Good evening to Jean Denis Tabe, National President of Popular Action Party. Happy birthday to Justice Aya Paul Abine. Today makes him 71, at least. It's very rare to see icons like him who have fought for justice in this country to be alive today. We give God the glory. Thank you for having me as your guest.
You're welcome. At the level of the Popular Action Party, how have you been celebrating maybe the anniversary of Justice Aya Paul?
We can only wish Justice Aya long life, prosperity, and we wish him to keep us, guiding us, giving us the mentorship to stand on the side of justice, truth, and to be with the people and the people first all the time.
Okay. That's it. We equally of Equinoxe, we wish him a happy birthday. Now we begin by talking about the health crisis. We're talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. We know our government has been striving hard to fight this pandemic. We have support from foreign partners, from the International Monetary Fund, but huge funds, gathered by Cameroon from the International Monetary Fund. But today, many people say these sums of money have been embezzled, by some persons who are in charge with the COVID gates. What is the PAP saying?
It is not some people or some persons saying that money have been stolen.
No, let's say Cameroonians.
Yes, money have been stolen by government officials or some ministers. I was reading a 26-page document released today by the Chamber of Accounts of the Supreme Court, revealing documents showing that some ministers embezzled money, depicting what we have been talking about. Maybe you would like to know some of the things that were said there. Ministry of Health awarded 4 contracts for drugs worth 53 million, but till now he is unable to indicate where the drugs were stored. A building that was made free by the government of the Republic of Cameroon to take care of COVID-19 cases was given to the ministry, under the Ministry of Health, to manage, and a sum of 1 billion was allocated for the management and maintenance of this building. So we don't know the account of how this money has been spent, because the audit basis, no report has been given so far of the maintenance or repairing of this building so far, because nothing has changed there. This is report from the audit, from the account chambers of the Supreme Court. It is what they are saying, that from the report they were expecting from the money discharged at the level of Ministry of Finance and what they are actually having as a report from the various ministries, there is a lot of loopholes. So it comes to confirm to Cameroonians and every Cameroonian watching to know that these people were never there to fight COVID-19 pandemic, but they were there to steal their money. And even the Ministry of Finance confirmed it when he was in front of the Senate the other day in a audio that is in the social media. Everybody can listen to him talk. He said that certains ministères qui n'étaient même pas concernés sont venus à la source pour le mangeoire. That's the minister saying it to minister of the Republic of Cameroon. So Mr. Innocent Azer, he is the one saying that the COVID-19 money came and people were already giving money for the fight of repercussion of the pandemic without even fighting the pandemic itself. Because if money is given in March 2020, April 2020, at that point we were talking about the pandemic, not the repercussions of the pandemic. And ministers like secondary education, ministers like tourism, ministers like economy and planning, what were their concern at the point that they were fighting pandemic? Because if you say Minister of Tourism came for the maintenance of hotel, is it not in Douala here that some people who were France, Germany, they came from abroad and they ran from a hotel because there was no maintenance? It is appalling. What does this tell us? It tells us that the people who are in Yaoundé do not have conscience. Yaoundé ministers do not have conscience, and they have stolen money meant for health crisis, pandemic in the country. They have to give accountability to. And I like the last statement made by the audit of
chamber at the Supreme Court, they say that 14 proceedings for mismanagement, 1-5 for de facto mismanagement, has been forwarded to the Ministry of Justice. You know, Cameroon is some sort of jungle where one unjust person judge another unjust person. So we are expecting to see the Minister of Justice, who himself, justice has never been rendered under his ministry, to be just or carry out sanctions to the other ministers who have stolen money. You know, it is only when the issue becomes very critical, open to the eyes of Cameroonians, they are aware of what is happening before something is being done. But we hope to see that these ministers are in prison, not only in prison, but the money recovered. In a serious country, Mr. Aze, this issue of COVID-19 is what they call high treason. Because in countries like China, Russia, when money of the state in this quantity, in this amount is stolen, it is firing squad. They kill the people to set example. But in our own, they pirate in front of the assembly, pirate in front of the Senate, singing songs. And to the best of my knowledge, nothing in this country had ever been serious when it comes to people who we call ministers that are supposed to be the first guarantor of management policies, of laws, of texts that are supposed to regulate attitude of civil servants in the offices. And well, we of the Popular Action Party is there to open the eyes of Cameroonians, to tell them the truth, to tell them that this is where they are supposed to open their eyes. If they were supposed to give award to citizens of the world for tolerance, I will say that Cameroonian citizens are too tolerant for people to embezzle 180 million. Is it million or billions?
Billions.
Billions.
Talking of billions.
You see, billions. You know, the amount is too huge that I'm just dreaming of that amount stolen by some people, few individuals, and everybody is talking and looking at the issue like that.
And why are these persons, you calling them ministers, why are they feeling free, whereas they should be haunted? Why are they actually feeling free in front of
it is the system, it's the nature of the country, because in our country, I was listening to one other very interesting video from one parliamentarian today. I don't really know the name of that parliamentarian, where he himself is affirming that the system in which they are functioning like parliamentarians have failed, making them to carry in their conscience the inability to deliver to the people what they were expected of, what they were voted to the parliament to do, telling the other ministers that he does not know whether as he's going back to his office he's going to remove his coat and rest, because the conscience of the nation, the atrocities they have committed, and the money of the COVID, which is now on the shoulders of the parliamentarians to justify to Cameroonians, senators and the ministers, it is disturbing all of them. Whereas when the money came, they were not concerned with the management and how it ended up in the pockets of people that they are unable to justify today. That's to tell you that we are in a system of mixed-up cacophony type of government where the description is yet to be found in a living dictionary in the 21st century. The government has simply failed. They need to resign. They need to tell Cameroonians, apologize to Cameroonians for eating their money, for playing with lives of Cameroonians. We are talking of health crisis. I think you people are journalists. You must have seen what happened in, I think it's Malawi with Lazarus Chawera, the president there. He said, no, if you joke with $1 of money meant to fight COVID-19, you are going to go to prison. And not only going to prison, you confiscate all the properties of these people. If you go to Kondege, Mr. Innocent, I am working with a lot of people who are doing prison watch, who are watching what is happening. The best quarters of the prison is meant for people who have embezzled. And these people still have access to their assets. What type of prison is that? There's no prison. Prison, if prison was meant to be that comfortable, some people even prefer to go to that prison.
Various logs,
of course. Go to, there are two prisons in Yaoundé, Prison Principal and Prison Central. Central is made up of people who are political prisoners. And they are not even strong in terms of the amount of atrocities they have committed to the population. And then Prison Principal now that is very much relaxed, the rules there and everything, control and mode of life is not difficult. It's made for those who have committed high treason, who have stolen huge amount of money that their sons and daughters who are abroad, who are everywhere, are going to enjoy for life. How do you justify that? What type of republic are we in? That is where, and that is why we of the Popular Action Party is saying that we must treat this issue of COVID gate with rigor. This is where they have to set example to say Cameroon and Cameroonians and the state authorities and civil servants should not joke with money of the state. And this is borrowed money. It is not even money that it is, let's say, internal contribution or money from our own activities. Borrowed money. Which means the burden is on you and me. On products that we are going to buy, indirect taxes are going to increase very soon. We'll be buying a cup of rice and so on and so forth for very high amounts.
Even basic commodities in the markets, whose prices have skyrocketed. And you saying that they have used the COVID-19 pandemic as a confirm, the harvest farm. So you are the one saying so. You are
no, I'm not the one saying so.
The
Ministry of Finance was the one who said in front of senators that listen to his words, that comme on dit à la source certains ministères qui n'étaient pas concernés. I am quoting Louis Paul Mutaze, the Ministry of Finance, in front of the Senate. The video is there. Go and see it. I'm not the one. It's not Fabrice Lena. It is the minister who said it. And that is the way Cameroon is being run. And nobody says anything. Is that serious? Is that a country that we talk of and people are dying? Go and see the number of IDPs that are dying because they don't have medication, Mr. Innocent Aze. Look at what is happening. Equipments bought a whole lot of cacophony. There is one of this part of the report where they say an enterprise, ETS, Abua, ABS Motors, Face Engineering, have the same manager, and this manager is the junior brother of the Ministry of Public Health. How do you explain this?
Before we wrap up, before we end, what if the Popular Action Party was given an upper hand to handle these COVID-19 funds? What would you guys do?
No, the solution is to set good example, to tell people that you don't measure up with state amount, respect the laws, the ground norm of the country, which is the constitution, text regulating the attitude and behavior of civil servants, and apply the sanctions accordingly to everyone guilty of committing such crime as stealing from the public funds.
And lastly, the last words concerning the International Monetary Fund willing to grant another loan to the government of Cameroon to fight the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, if the International Monetary Fund is willing
to fight,
it's
blind.
No, it's not that they are blind. They know what they are doing. You know, when a government is collapsing, international financial institutions and partners keep doing what they are doing. It means there is a hidden agenda, and that agenda will be uncovered in front of everyone. But I pray that they themselves planning another agenda to subdue Cameroonians will not succeed. Cameroonians are now very conscious and wise, and they are being mobilized. We are telling International Monetary Fund that support what you know is right, and let their conscience judge you that you are signing the pen in that particular office to make sure that you give money for people to steal. They don't give you justification. You want to give another one.
Thank you so very much, Fabrice Lena.
Thank you, Mr. Innocent Aze. It is always a pleasure to have been on board to give my own contribution so that our country should go ahead.
Of course, it's as well a pleasure to always have you on our sets. That was Fabrice Lena, Secretary General of the Popular Action Party, punctuating on the mismanagement of COVID-19 funds meant to fight the pandemic and meet the population. That's ending this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thanks so much for watching. Take the round over tomorrow.